to say, too, that 51% of Muslims, I believe, love Jews. And it's only a small percentage of them that are on a jihad kick, but that's still 250 million. But they believe that, like Hitler, that there should be no Jews anywhere. And they let them into America, and they let them come to the universities, and that's what they teach. The universities are infected, and they're teaching people how to hate Jews with my tax money.
Well, not much longer, because I think we've got a clip from Secretary Besson on what we're doing with Harvard. And Roseanne, you'll be happy to know they will have a little less of all of our money.
President Trump said a while ago, posted actually on social media, that they were in the process of removing the tax exempt status from Harvard. There's been a lot of issues with Harvard, but that's one that comes within your bailiwick. Where is that process right now?
The president is moving forward with that. And we're also looking at taxes on endowments. And I think the important thing here, and it goes a little bit back to this Main Street versus the elites, that Harvard, to have a tax-exempt status, there are rules you have to follow. And if you're not following the rules, no one's above the law. So we will see if they're following the rules. It looks like there's a substantial number where perhaps they weren't.
It's so interesting because, they'll tell you that Trump, because he's a billionaire, is an elite, or Besson has a lot of money, he was a hedge fund guy, that he's an elite. But you can see what a real elite is. What a real elitist is are the people that have the $54 billion endowment in Harvard while they're getting tax cuts and tax rebates and tax exemptions to do all of the racist shit that Roseanne just laid out right there. And basically, they want to discriminate against whites and Asians and Jews to let other people in. You don't solve past discrimination by current discrimination. All the other nonsense that's been going on college campuses, Trump's just had it. Trump's the reverse of an elite. And frankly, I don't think a school that has a $54 billion endowment, which is basically a giant hedge fund, Sage, I don't think they need more of our money.
Yeah, I think I told you this before, Dave. Roseanne, I just had my oldest graduate from college, and I have two currently in college still. And I lived in the Northeast. I lived in Connecticut. So a lot of these Ivy League schools are the schools that all kids up there look at if there's a chance they can get in. And I told my kids, I will not pay for your education if you stay in the Northeast quadrant. I will not. Unless you want to get a bunch of student loans, go for it. But otherwise, not just to avoid, this chaos, but to experience other people, other cultures, open your mind. Not everybody thinks like this, like they do up in the Northeast. And this is the reason why I think that would be the last place I would send my child if they could get in. I certainly couldn't have. But then you look at the speeches by the students there over the last couple of days as well, and it is another level of hatred. My question is, when will they say mercy? When will
Never.
Never. I agree.
I guess if you don't have to because of that kind of endowment, but fine. Let's go for it, because they keep doubling and tripling down on this, which tells me that, yes, Roseanne, there is true hatred in their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would you allow this to continue, and encouraging your students to continue to crush other people, to hate Jewish people?
Well, because what they really hate is America.
Yes.
And so that's what they want to destroy. That's their every thought is, we've got to get rid of this constitutional republic. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to the world. When in fact, it's the best thing that's ever happened to it. Representational government is the best thing that's ever happened. But they hate that. They hate that because they only believe in the state, which is them, and power. But what happens is, for every action, there's a reaction, which they don't know. They don't understand cause and effect, because they think they are cause, and they're not. They're actually effect. But here's what's going to happen, and is happening. Employers are not going to hire people from Harvard. So exactly. I love it, because, God always finds a way to correct evil. He has to, because he's intelligence itself. So it will always self-correct, and that is the best thing that could happen. is big companies go, we can't take the miseducated.
And also, I mean, enrollment is down big time throughout Ivy League schools, and they're all coming south down where I am. I have a daughter in the SEC and another kid that's in school in North Carolina. When the parents start to say, let's not send our kids there, that means less money being donated to the university. And so, yes, the domino effect, I think, is our only hope. And it's a good thing.
It is happening. So it's so great. The self-correction of intelligence, they never factor that in. They never do.
I love that, Roseanne. I love that. That's because that's it. That's probably the baked in code into why evil does not win in the end. It gets wins, but it doesn't always win, no matter how bad we think things can get, because there's something about the basic fundamental part of being human that causes enough of us to reject it.
Yep.
Yeah, because evil is stupid. That's its nature. It's stupid.
That was another way to say it.
Stupid things. Otherwise, it wouldn't be evil.